never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my standing, go out of this world and right on time. Oh, never in my life have I seen the sky light up like this. I'm far away from Earth and I wanna know if you exist. Mission control, do you read me? Send me my coordinates lately. Mission control, am I drifting? Tie me to someone who will love me, yeah. Wait, I think I'll last a bit longer. Fine.
Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. It is a Thursday, and earlier in the week I said that coming up later on this week I had a very interesting topic for all of you college football fans out there, and today is that day. And this particular article comes to us courtesy of the social media page called College Football Trash Talk Nation. So if you are a college football fan and you do not follow College Football Trash Talk Nation, you should. I've already had 3 or 4 different topics that I've done that came from that social media page, and this is another one. This is top 25 hardest schedules in America heading into the 2023 college football season. According to College Football Trash Talk Nation, the toughest schedule in the country this year belongs to Ole Miss, followed by Minnesota, Florida, Maryland. Auburn rounds out the top 5, and then we have Arkansas, Michigan State, Tennessee, Rutgers. Indiana rounds out the top 10. South Carolina, Texas, Kentucky, Penn State, and LSU rounding out the top 15. Texas A&M, Purdue, Alabama, Notre Dame, and Missouri rounds out the top 20. And 21 through 25 is Michigan, Georgia Tech, Ohio State, Mississippi State, and Wisconsin. Now, I bring this up because I know so many people care about how tough their team's schedule is, or when it's an opposing team that they hate and that team wins, the first thing out of their mouth is, well, look at y'all's schedule. So this is something for all of you schedule people to look at and think about. But of course, a lot of it is based on what the team you're playing did last year and what the team you're playing is supposed to do heading into this year. For instance, if you play a team that finished last year 11-1 and in the preseason they're picked to be a top 10 team, then automatically it looks like a tough game on your schedule. But then after the season, if that team ends up finishing 4-8, then all of a sudden your schedule wasn't so tough. But a lot of times you see the rankings in the preseason and the teams just aren't as good as they were supposed to be. So your schedule looks tough going into the season, but a lot of times it ends up not being as tough, and sometimes it's the other way around. you go into a season and you see a team's schedule and it looks like, oh, they got an easy schedule. Then all of a sudden, when the year's over with, every team they played ended up winning 9 or 10 games. So their schedule wasn't as easy as you thought it was going to be. But typically, usually, most of the time, if a team goes 11-1 or 10-2 the year before, they're going to come out the next year in the first poll in the preseason, and they're going to be, if not top 5, at least top 10, top 15. It doesn't mean they're going to finish there, but it's where they're starting at. That's why I always hate when you start a season and it comes around, week 6, week 7, and all these college football shows start comparing these teams' schedule, and they'll show, well, this team's beat 5 ranked teams, and then they actually show their schedule, and you realize they didn't beat 5 ranked teams. They beat 5 teams that were ranked when they played them. But if you play a team in week 1 and they're 4th in the country, but the season ends and they went 6-6, I'm sorry, you didn't beat a ranked team. Just because they were ranked number 4 when you played them does not mean they were the 4th best team in the country. Other way around. If you play a team in week 2 and they're not supposed to be any good that season, so when you play them, they're not ranked. You go out there and you beat them, and then when the season ends, somebody shows your schedule and they only give you credit for 1 ranked win. That's not fair. Just because the team wasn't ranked when you played them, if that team is not ranked in week number 2, but they finished the season 9-3, I'm sorry, you should get credit for beating a ranked team. You can't help where the team is when you play them. It's how they finish out the season. You play a team in week 1 that's supposed to be a top 5 team and they go 7-5, I am not giving you credit for a ranked win. I don't care where they were when you played them. If they finish the season 6-6 or 7-5, that's not a ranked win. But that's how I look at it. Unfortunately, most of the schedule people that try to feed you a certain narrative, that's what they'll use to make you believe their narrative, hoping that all you look at is that ranking out beside the team and don't really follow them and don't really know how good or bad they actually are. Any thoughts on this? As always, please feel free to let me know. Homes for Our Troops is a publicly funded 501c nonprofit organization that builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans. Since the 2004 inception, nearly 90 cents of every dollar spent has gone directly to our program services for veterans. Visit at hfotusa.org. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. What do you call a fake noodle? An impasta. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.